What's up, guys? It's KingDaddyDMAC, and welcome back to another episode of Make It in ModSauce. Oh yeah, super excited. How's everybody doing today? I am doing excellent. I've been fiddling around ever since last episode with the quarry a little bit. It looks exactly the same as it did, but I've been fiddling around with a bunch of Ender IO stuff, with a whole bunch of extra utility stuff, and trying to figure this thing out. It's pretty hard to really figure what the exact power that it's requiring actually is without having enough power to do it. So I really need to hop into creative mode. However, I kind of like the excitement. I kind of like trying to figure it out in survival, figuring out exactly what this is requiring. Where people left us off, and we're trying to figure out if we were to put on the Speed 3 upgrade onto it, which makes it go oh so fast, how much power that actually requires. In the comments, you guys are super helpful. The two main numbers that people were kind of spitting out there were either 72,000 RF, which we're making, I think we're at 36,000, plus I have now two tier 6 solar flux panels on there, so that adds on a little bit more than 8. So we're getting up there. We're in the 40s, somewhere in the 40s. But yeah, either 72,000, and that would be if the quarry was taking 600 RF as the base, times the 80, and then times 1.5, kind of like when you're doing a tip or something like that. You multiply it times 1 plus the 0.5, which is what the Silk Touch requires, 1.5 multiplier. So if they were all stacked on each other, that would equal the 72,000. That seems to make decent sense. However, without having tested it myself, other people have argued that it was from them actually testing. I think it was like 122 to 123. I don't know if that number makes sense, because when you do the math backwards and take out the 80 and the 1.5, that would say that this guy's base thing that you're starting off of is over 1,000 RF a tick, which that is the main thing that makes me feel like that's not that realistic, but who knows? Please feel free, guys, to still comment in this video about this whole question of what this actually is requiring, and please put down, if you come to a number, please explain how you got to that number. And you know, try and do it out, because I think this is an interesting thing. It really is difficult finding any super correct information. Probably the smartest thing would be to tweet the mod author, but in any case, I think it's cool, and I like the chitter chatter about it. It's fun. Is fun. Another interesting idea, and something that I meant to get into a while ago, but with Ender IO, they do have different types of energy storage. This isn't nearly big enough. I'm not sure what the max size one can do at all. Oh, this is why this wasn't working for me. You can actually input. Okay, interesting. But anyway, yes, this is something, using the Ender IO, you can use a power monitor, and it will actually monitor how much power is going through, because that's the other question, is how much power are we actually sending here? I've had a difficult time actually testing that number to make sure there's no bottleneck in the wires. I don't think there is, but there always could be, and that could influence our numbers. So just kind of interesting little thing. And let's put on, now these wires do have a cutoff of 20,000 RF. In most cases, in 99% of cases, that's actually good enough. But in our case, it's not good enough. So let's just set these in, and I'll play with these more. I really only tinkered with them for a few moments. But you can see that power's going up, and then if you see in here, I'm not getting any info. I think that's because this isn't connected correctly. But if we stick this here, we can then see how much power is going through, and it should tell us. Okay, that's extracting only. Let's do this to insert only. And this is getting power. So is this going to then tell us something? Yeah, then you can see average input over 5 seconds is at 2,000 RF a tick. And that's due to this having a limit of 2,000 RF. However, if you cut this off, and I'm not going to spend too much time tinkering with these things, but I just want to point out because it was interesting. It's something I think that we should try and incorporate into more of our stuff. But if I put this node here, this is able to receive more. Let's actually look at this quickly. Now, why is that only at 2,000? It's probably because the core is also pulling out and we're maxing out. Let's have this do insert only. Is this having any change? Yeah, now we're seeing up to 9,000. Let's quickly knock this out. Let's knock this out. Now this should show us what the max of the wire. The wire ends up being the bottleneck. Sorry, we're doing this right now, guys. I know some of you are like, I don't care. Stop talking about all this stuff. And it's full now, right? Oh, dang you. Dang you, dang you. All right. Let's try and swing this around so it can also suck power out. Bam, bam, bam. And I don't want you to connect there. Bam. Let's prevent it. Prevent. I can't talk right now. All right, so now 2048, we can see it is now being bottlenecked from the wire. So interesting. Interesting, that's at 0 RF. So then if we take another one of these cables, and this I was kind of curious about, if we then connect in another side, how is this going to look? Let's pop you out. Let's put this back on here. Because I was trying to figure out if we did use the Ender IO wires, because it's a little easier to monitor than the other stuff. What's going on with this guy? Just make sure you're okay. So now this should tell us at 20,000, okay. If we then go over to top, let's go, bam, bam, let's disconnect it right there, disconnect it, and then go over the top, don't connect, oh, why am I getting stuck? I have my fingers on the wrong keys. Okay. We're, oh my goodness. Ooh, I just did a super jump. I don't know how I did a super jump. Turn off. Oh, turn off. Unconnect there. Come on. Come on. Oh, why is this giving me problems right now? I'm just trying to do a test. Let me do my simple little test, please. And set this in. Insert. And this is on extract. Now it's telling us, I think this is that we have 2 wires doing that. Now, once we start to add in more than that, the numbers seem like it went down. I don't know if it actually will then say that there's 4 of them. But regardless, interesting. The capacity bank storage, we have no capacitor banks in there. And this machine buffer, I think that's saying this is the machine. Let's knock that out. And then we can see this buffer go up. And it looks like, is that the max size there? See, it's saying here that it's so that must be actually counting maybe what some of those wires are. I don't know. I don't know. I think this might be the total, like, gross power in the system, including maybe the cables. Does that make sense? Yeah, that would actually make pretty dang perfect sense. And then if we removed this guy, plump, that machine storage now pumps down to what the actual storage is in the pipes. And each individual pipe, if we look at this, 99988, bam, that should have went down a little bit. And it didn't there. But in any case, yes, I think this is interesting. I want to do a little bit more research on this, but just wanted to point out in case some of you haven't seen it. Pretty neat, Ender IO. So anyway, now that we've lost 50% of our viewers because they're like, all right, another tech episode, I'm out of here. Let's get on to things. Okay, so moving on. Last little thing I just want to talk about with this, a lot of people are saying, why on earth are you using an ender chest on there? You have a tesseract there. You could connect both items and energy to the same thing, save a spot, and then you could then put in the whole thing that sucked out liquids or something like that. Yes, that is the plan ultimately. The reason we're not going directly into the Tesseract is because I don't want to do that until we have our ME system like done and all of our storage is going in the ME system. Currently, we have this all going still to spawn. And for that reason, I want to have a separate Ender chest storage going there. And I also like being able to just visually go in and seeing if it's bottlenecked here. Whereas with the Tesseract, that's a little bit more difficult to do. I suppose you could also argue just put a Tesseract and then a diamond chest and it would be the same thing. But anyway, leave me alone. We're going to get to that. That is the final goal. All right. So today I want to start a little bit. We got to get this AE system going. We got to get it in because we are running out of space. This is a total disaster area, total mess. Wires going everywhere. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just adding on after adding on after adding on without any planning. So the first step in that is that we got to get our main controller going. It's pretty impressive actually. I've been able to go up to this point, everything wired in with AE with just this single controller. So, I mean, people that say AE stinks because of this whole channel controller thing, it's a little tedious, a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I mean, seriously, one controller has done everything that we've done up till now. So that's pretty impressive. But in any case, I made a whole crud ton more controllers, enough to be able to get this to the max size. And that is going to be located right below the center of this path, right here. So I want to get that set in place and then bring some wires going over into the base. Should have enough wires to handle any scenario of getting this wired up and over there, even if our AE system is turned off. So I think that'll be good. Let me start to get this wired in, and it was a 7x7x7, I believe. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would be right in the corners. So let's just grab out another block of any type. Doesn't really matter. This basalt brick should work just fine. Just go here, boom, and let's build this down maybe that far. May end up moving it around. And let's get this controller in. So currently everything's blacked out, and that's because we don't have power being sent to it yet. That's okay. That's okay. But everything is now going to be centralized around here. I may even want to move it down more. That may want to even be a thing. So I'll play around with that. But that's 7x7, and then we can go down another 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I really run out of controllers already? I thought I had more than that. Where'd I put them? Did I not make enough? Maybe I didn't make enough controllers yet. I'd feel like such a dirt. Did I put them somewhere? Dang you. What did I do? That must have just been enough to do the 7x7 on the top. All right, so it looks like we're making more controllers. So how many is actually required in this max thing? So how far were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 more times 3. And then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4. And that should do it. Oh man. All right. I think I know why I didn't do the controllers, all of them before. I think I ran out of... Yes, the pure Fluix crystal. What a pain in the butt. What a pain in the butt. All right. I think we need to get started to make some type of automated puddle machine. So, how on earth are we going to do this? We could just use droppers or dispensers. I forget which do which. I always get those two confused. But within the AE mod, like, he's got to have a way to automate it within his own mod. I mean, come on now. You got to. So I think there's these 2 different types of planes, and I think there's the one, remember before we had the, I think it was like destruction plane or the whatever that would break blocks. Come on, NEI. It always has trouble with AE, with the ones that are larger mods. There we go. Let's see if we can find, okay, so there's the annihilation plane. I believe this guy is going to like destroy anything that comes next to it. I forget what we called those in the previous mod. But then there's another plane, formation plane. That'll set a block down, but I'm curious if it will also spit out blocks. So there's those. There's also the P2P item stuff. Well, that's kind of interesting, but I think I'm going to play around with this a little bit. So this is a formation core and then some crystals. Let's just make a pattern for it. So, and I'm not sure formation does, if it'll only set down a block or what, but we'll find out. And what's the difference? I guess it's the same thing, just two different ways to craft it. I don't want to use those. I want to use the pure. Eventually, we're going to switch over to that type of Fluix. All right, let's get that made. Let's get that in there. I put in a whole nother set of things so that we can get more room for patterns. Let's throw that in. Right, we'll throw it there. And that was called, again, the Annihilation Plane, right? Yeah, plane. So let's craft one up. Next. And let's see what happens when we set this down. So I'm going to set it down just... Ooh. Okay, so that's a plane. It's got to be facing something. So let's put a block there, and these shouldn't be on right now. Let's put a block there. Let's set that on it. It's kind of cool looking. Let's knock that out. And let's turn on our magnet for just a second. Bam! And let's see. Okay, so formation plane. I think it will spit out whatever goes into it downwards. I don't know if this is its inventory or if this is just like the type of items it can spit. If that's even what it does. It will likely take... Let's see, can we just connect an interface to it, or do we... I don't even know how this works. I really should have researched it a tad first. I know. Alright, we might have got somewhere. I had all of the basalt in my inventory, but when I put it all back into the system, as soon as I set that there, let's see what happens. Oh, it's only as it's going in. So if I pull it out, it's out of there because it's got a priority. So when things are stored in the machine, it's sort of like a storage bus, how that works. If you remember, if it's already in the machine, it won't spit it out. But as it's coming in new, it does. And look at that. It actually sets down the block. So I don't know if this is going to be what we want, exactly what we want. That's with a block that can be placed. I'm curious now if we do it with a crystal, what happens? Is it going to throw out the crystal? So let's grab some crystals out. Let's see what happens if I throw the crystals now, these 32, back into the system. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it spit it out. See, because it spit it out, and then our item collector picked it back up immediately. All right, we're getting places. We're moving on to where we want to be. Okay, so Fluix dust is what one of the things we want spit out. If this is how it works. So let's take that off. Let's put the Fluix dust in there. Okay, and now we'll spit out the Fluix dust. Yeah, see, it went right back into our inventory because it spit it out. All right, cool. Oh man, we're getting places. We're getting places. All right, let's turn off the magnet now. And let me see, can we change this to be an interface here? Because this doesn't have its own... It's almost like an interface in itself. Almost like you would need a separate system for this to work. But let's see. If we take an interface, can we put an interface here? Will it let me set an interface on you? No, that's weird. Look at that. It like takes the whole thing. All right, how are we going to do this? Let's turn the magnet back on. All right, let me think about it for a little bit, about how we're going to do this, but we're going to get it to work. Oh man, I got it working. It's super cool. I'm really liking this. Kind of learning as I go along, so this could definitely be a lot more compact. But anyway, I've got these couple of blocks here is its own little miniature AE network. That's pretty neat, little sub network. I've got a quartz fiber thing. What that does, we talked about this like way early on, but what this does is it basically splits the two different wires apart. So right there, that took up a channel. Let's knock off that wire and knock off this. So this little mini guy, this will pass power through, but it won't pass data. So that way we can have our little subnetwork be powered from our main thing, but it's not going to be interacting with the same controller. So to set this down, you just set that on the wire, then you can continue it on with whatever wire after that. So that's cool. Now I finally, this really kind of makes me see why they have these mini interfaces where you can make the interfaces smaller so that it doesn't send data through. That's super useful for a situation like this where I want to have an ME interface, an ME interface touching another ME interface. So basically what this is doing is I'll put in some different patterns for here. So for instance, let's do a pattern. Let's get some sand first. Sand. Okay, so we take one sand and one fluix dust, and that is going to, in our pattern, that's not the pattern thing. We were in the pattern thing. Let's change it to this. So one sand with one fluix dust is going to equal, I think it was 2 of these. I hope it's 2. I thought it was 2. Let's see if that works. It might be 1, but I think it's 2. I think that's the whole reason why you want to do that, because you get double the output. But if we go like that, that should spit out, and then we should end up seeing, if I request 2, we should see it end up in there. And what's going to happen is this will treat itself kind of like a storage bus right here. If I take a ME storage bus and let's set that on a chest, just so you can see. If we do a chest and then an ME storage bus, it looks identical. But this guy, the storage bus, is going to interact with the inventory of the chest, whereas this guy is just going to spit stuff back out. So I think everything should be good now to test this. Let's just flip that on so that these are powered. And let's go fluix. So we should see the pattern now in here to get that. So if I request 2 start, it's going to tell us what we need. Okay, and this, it requires this because it's got to craft into that. So start, whoop, it should have spit down into there. And you can see him just sitting, chilling down there. Now this I didn't set to sand, so we're probably going to see a sand inside of there. So why don't I set a sand really quickly. Let's take off that crystal. Let's just set the sand, because those are the only 2 we want in there. And then this thing was just representing that you can also put it in. Oh, that's cruddy. What are we going to do about this? That's no good because sand's an actual block. Oh, nugget. How are we going to get around that, guys? How are we going to get around that? We're going to have to think of something. I don't... Okay. Oh, man, what are we going to do? Gotta think. I suppose I could just put a half slab there, maybe. Alright, back to the drawing board. Oh, man, I love how much of a derp I am sometimes. It just it blows my mind. Like, I look at myself and what I'm doing, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, think! So I was going through a whole process of, yeah, if we put maybe like a half slab there, if I went like this and dropped the sand in and dropped the fluix crystal in, this way it would then break it and then they'd fall apart and they'd sit there, and I was sitting here watching it and I'm like, you know what? At what point does it turn into a seed? I'm like, you idiot, you gotta craft the seed. I love it. So yeah, this doesn't equal this. No, that was an incorrect recipe. Let's clear that out. Let's do this right now. Oh, man. So you take, I think it's this, and a sand. And that makes the seed. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So let's then put this in. And this, I don't think is the... So we can put all that in there. Okay, so we have the seeds. And then these 2 seeds are going to equal... It's going to be two Fluix dust. So we can actually even do 1 seed equals 1 Fluix. Just like that. There we go. There we go. That's the pattern we want. That is the pattern we want. So then we stick that in there. Okay. Okay, we're doing better. Doing better. All right. And this is a bust pattern, right? What was that one? Yeah, that's a bust pattern. So we can put that back into our little pattern thing. All right. So let's try this now. This should work now. We've got to put in this so that it's able to throw in seeds. So that if it gets into the system, instead of getting clogged up in this interface, it just spits right out. So let's now do it. Let's go Fluix. Let's go pure Fluix crystal. Let's go 10. That should spit out. Craft 10 of the seeds, which comes from 5 of that. Start. And I have my dumb magnet on. Oh my goodness. Why? All right, let's pick that back up. Let's turn that on. And this is why I added that in, so that we can do it like this. So bam, it spits it out. It should be chilling down there, in there. No, because we need to take this thing out. Hold on. Hold on, let's do it one more time. I promise you, we're gonna get it right this final time. Let's knock that out. Let's put the piece of glass back in. Let's put the water back in. And last time, for reals. For realsies. That didn't just happen. Okay, last time, for realsies. Okay, it's spit out. And the seeds are growing. They better be growing. Yep, we can see them growing. See them growing. It's still going to take a couple minutes. All right, they're almost done. We can see they're growing big. They're growing big. Oh man, you can do it. Yes, it did it. It did it. All right, so then the final part of the automation is to get it back into the other system. So right now it's going into this guy. We don't want it to stay in that guy. So let's get this knocked out. They'll pick it right back up. So let's get that taken out. Let's take out our filter. Let's take... Oh. Let's take all that out. Sneak back in here. Okay. So then that wire is an extension of this one. So if then on this one we do we have another interface here? Let's get one more interface to complete the system. All right. And let me just make sure that we have room on our wire here. Yes, we have room. And I'm going to leave this right above just because I'll remember where it is, where it's coming from. Let's see, do we have the, yep, ME cable. We can just connect this up, over. Come on, let me in, let me in. All right, bam. All right, cool. So now that's connected in. Let's put back our little advanced item collector. So I'm actually going to put that right like that. And we want it to be able to go down 1, 2, 3. 3 blocks. I'm going to set it to 4 on the Y. And then, yeah, it should be all good. So then we put our filter back in. And let's pretend that this just finished. So we have, let's see how much Fluix crystal. Fluix. All right, so none in the system. If we throw that down there, it goes boom in there. It should have been picked up already. And now we have 12. Awesome. And does it say the crafting job is done? And it says the crafting job is done. Sweet. Super sweet. So the next thing I'm going to have to figure out how to automate. I mean, these really don't take up that much power. They only really do early game. But figure out a way so that when this has items in it, it flips those on. That would be super cool. But in any case, this is now a closed system. And I probably should put the item collector right there. That way we can hide it all. But whatevs, whatevs. I think it's all good. All good in the hood. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So now we've got one of the seeds automated. I should get all the other types of seeds and everything automated as well. One sand. One thing like that equals that guy. Like this one and the machine one. Awesome. So now we've got that automated. So one went in there. The other one will go in here. Cool. And then we should already have on the filter pure Certus quartz crystal. Awesome. And then we have the Fluix crystal. That will be the final one. So if we say charged, which we already have the charged automated. Remember we did that the other episode. So those would equal 2 of those. And that one I do want to test. That one's actually pretty quick to watch. So let's flip this back on. Let's get this set so that it spits out. Bam. 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 That's what it should have put into the thing. So those should be sitting there. Did they spit out yet? No. Did we do the pattern right? Sure. Okay. So it should do it. All right. And it already did it while we were just sitting there. Okay, next. Start. Should have spit out. It's in there. It's all chilling. Bam. Finished. And it's there. Awesome. We were right on the amount. Everything's all good in the hood. Oh man, that is super cool. Okay. So now that we got that automated, we should be able to do the whole controller thing. Cool. And by the way, I still didn't fully understand it as of last episode. I know we used the crafting things and it was too big for the 64, or excuse me, for the solar flux thing to be crafted. But it's really interesting. You really got to think of these crafting storages as literally storage. And what they're doing is you can actually click on which one's going on. Right now, this one right here, it's storing all these materials. It actually pulls it out of your system. So right here when we say stored, it's storing that much. Right here stored, it's storing these fluid crystals in these actual blocks. So now it's out of the system and you're not going to by mistake pull something out that's being required in one of your crafts while that's going on. And I think that's super cool and it makes perfect sense why you can see them dropping out. Isn't that cool? It makes perfect sense why we weren't able to do the solar flux, because if one of these drives was completely full, you're not going to be able to fit more materials into it. So that's really what it is one of these 64K drives that's up there and it's storing all the materials required for the craft. I think that's pretty neat. So anyway, all this stuff's going on. Look at it. It's going nuts. We'll get our controllers, and I'm not sure how much time I spent with this, but I'm happy. We got a little project done. I think that's cool. I'm going to wait till it's done, and I'll see how much time we have left. All right, all 40 controllers finished. It really didn't take that long. It was pretty cool. I'm happy we got that done. That's something I've been wanting to do. Didn't expect to do today, but we did it. Let's get the rest of these set in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this goes all the way across. Now, I don't know if this is the most efficient way to build this bad boy. I'm sure it might be. And you know what? This is going to be more room than we need. But I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious. We'd have to add some power to this before I could really tell what are the best ways to do it. In fact, probably in creative mode would be the best way. I don't know. I'm kind of against creative mode stuff. All right, that is... Oh, we can craft that if we want. All right, I'm just going to craft it. Ugh. Whatever. All right, crafted it. Let's charge it up. Let's run over here, charge it up. I do like how these crystals you can... charge up. Let's just wait till it gets to that color. I don't like how you can't just look at it and it not like tell you what it's got for charge. It looks like that's probably fully charged. And if we wrench it, all right, 100% charged. Kind of curious how long this will actually last for. Let's head back down. Let's plug this bad boy in. Bam! Sweet! We got our controller. And I'm pretty sure if we were to get more and put some through the center down like this, I don't think those would end up being colored, or else it might fight with the block. So I think this is how most of these things are designed to be. Something like that. But I think that's cool. So I'm going to play around with the height of it in between this episode, next episode, and kind of figure out how I want to have this wired. But the gist of it is, each one of these sides here, oh yeah, it can only be 7 in any direction. Let me just see something. If I plop that out, oh no, where's our magnet? Let's get our magnet. That's the whole magnet thing. That's the only reason why that whole puddle stuff kind of sucks. Because I have to have my magnet off whenever I do that. Otherwise, I'm going to by mistake pick up all those seeds. But I just want to confirm this. If I go further by 1, see, the whole thing dies. Whole thing dies as soon as I go 1 further. All right, what if I do it up here? Whole thing's dead. Whereas if I go here, that still works. That's kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting. So I guess I could also do something. See, this would be the center here. It goes like that. Does that work? That still kind of looks like it works. I don't know. It's kind of fading weird colors. Look at that, how it fades in and out. Did it always do that? Yeah, it's kind of weird colored. I don't know if the colors have anything to do with it. Is it still going to go that red color when I do it like that? Yeah, it still does. So, what I also don't like is my frame rate does seem to be lowered a good bit, but you know what? That's going to happen. We're still averaging probably 150 to 200 frames. If you want to see up there, look at that. The jetpack stuff overwrites it. There you go. Now you can see. You can see the fluctuation. Yeah, my frames are actually showing higher from elsewhere. I don't know. They seem a little low now. There we go. Now it's going up. We look down. Okay. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to about do it. Yeah, we got kind of distracted today, but we got some good stuff done. I'm happy about it. I'm very happy about it. Don't forget to help out. Any of the suggestions in the comments, any of the stuff that we've been talking about today, more stuff to do with the quarry. If you have any more input on that, make sure to check out the last episode if you need any content, context, text. Why am I have problems speaking today? Any context about what's going on, any other advice on the controller, on the shape. It seems like this is probably the best way to do it, just the square, but let me know if there's far superior ways and I should be planning about that. Any other tips, tricks, anything we did on our little puddle machine, anything like that. Or if you just want to say hi, or if there's even stuff from previous episodes that maybe I didn't answer back on your comment, or just tips, tricks, anything. please help me out. I do read the comments. I learn most things I learn actually are from the comments. So I really appreciate your guys' input and the time that you put into that. It really does help. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I hope you stuck around. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be first to see the episodes. Yeah, we're not always doing super techie stuff. We have been lately, but it's not gonna stay that way. We just got to get some of these things done around our base. Super important. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up because it helps me out oh so much in both knowing that I'm appreciated, knowing that you guys care, and it also helps me out to get much better noticed on YouTube for my Minecraft. Awesome. Well, thanks guys, and as always, quick jaw. Right there, that got me a couple dislikes. Thanks for watching, and peace out.